This video is sponsored by Squarespace, your one-stop shop to build the website of your dreams. Hey everybody, so about 3 months ago I showed you guys the Samsung Galaxy A80, but for some reason Samsung Hong Kong declined to release that phone here in Hong Kong, instead releasing it in Southeast Asia. But I managed to get a hold of the phone anyway, so I have here on me the Samsung Galaxy A80. And in case you've forgotten what phone this is the phone with that really crazy pop-up camera. Okay, I don't know if the camera just got that, but the pop-up mechanism was a little bit choppy and a little bit jerky, right? And that's actually one of the flaws about this phone that I'm gonna go into later. I didn't expect it to show at the beginning of the video, so good thing it did. That's because this pop-up mechanism is just a little bit wonky. It's not as fast and doesn't feel as sturdy as any of the pop-up mechanism that we've seen in the Oppo Find X or Vivo Nex or the OnePlus 7 Pro. So this pop-up camera allows you to get a completely uninterrupted display. This is a 6.7-inch OLED screen with an in-display fingerprint reader. Back of this phone is pretty nice. It's glass, has this little reflective magnetic look to it that I quite like. There's a triple camera setup here. So this serves as the selfie camera too, because there's no notch. So this is headlined by a 48 megapixel main sensor from Samsung. It's an f2.0 lens. And then there's an 8 megapixel wide angle camera that I'm a little bit worried about because 8 megapixel just isn't that much pixels for a wide angle shot. And then finally you have a TOF camera. So TOF, it's basically a 3D sensor. So this will allow you to take bokeh images, and for my testing so far it actually works pretty well. So in terms of overall build, this is pretty nice. This is a mid-tier phone. Samsung's selling it for $650. Overall build quality is pretty nice, other than that pop-up camera being quite wonky. And one thing I want to add is Samsung even fixed the power button. On the Samsung Galaxy S10, the power button was weirdly high up on the phone. On this phone, it's actually reachable right here, just like that. So this phone runs on a Snapdragon 730 with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage. The Snapdragon 730, it's not as good as a A55 obviously, but it's still not too bad. Ran a Geekbench, scored a 6911 multi-core, 2517 single core. So that's pretty respectable, and overall you're not gonna encounter any performance issues other than this freaking pop-up camera right here, which I'll go into later. So this is a OLED panel. It's a Samsung OLED panel, so it looks good. Colors are vibrant. Viewing angles are very good. There's a little bit of color shifting when you tilt the phone, but not too bad at all. And just the fact that this phone has no notch, no cutout, it's a very immersive screen. And this is 6.7 inches too, so it's a large immersive screen, and the phone still fits in the hand pretty nicely. Okay, so going into the camera app, it's if you use the Samsung Galaxy S10, then you'll be very familiar with this camera interface. It's a swipe heavy interface, except now there is a night mode, which I believe is in the S10 too, but you have to download that. It didn't come out of the box, so it takes a lot of swiping, man, just to get around all the modes. And then you have an icon right here. You tap into this to go into wide angle, and you see right off the bat the wide angle, I can already see that Samsung has fixed the distortion. So distortion on this is non-existent, but the middle is very soft. That's because this is an 8 megapixel wide angle camera, and this is also low light right now, so this is a pretty bad wide angle shot. The main 48 megapixel sensor works a little bit better. Now you tap on this button to bring up this pop-up selfie camera. You see the camera again, I don't think it's supposed to be like this. I think it's supposed to flip over all the way. I don't know if this is like a flaw or not, but so you see there are 3 framing modes for the selfie camera too. So the middle one is actually the 48 megapixel sensor. This, the close-up shot, this is a digital zoom, a digital crop. It's for people to take selfies to get more of the face. But most people will want to use this one because it's a wider field of view. And if you want to go to wide angle, then you do this. This is the 8 megapixel wide angle camera. So because the Samsung Galaxy A80 has a TOF camera, you can shoot live focus video too. That's basically bokeh video in which the camera will actively pick out the subject and then blur the background around it. But as you can see right now, I don't know if you can see through the camera, but I'll show you footage. It doesn't look that good. So just stay here, babe. I'm gonna go around you. So yeah, it is actively blurring around her hair. But actually now that I'm taking a closer look, the effects look okay. They're not the best, but they're not that bad. It looks like a little fun video shooting mode. Now in terms of taking still photos, generally during the day you're gonna get some really good shots. This is a standard auto shot. This is a wide angle. So you see wide angle definitely gets a lot more into the frame, and Samsung has fixed all distortion, but you lose quite a bit of details when you shoot with wide angle compared to auto. So this is pixel binning image right here. So this is a 48 megapixel shot, but this is pixel binned to 12 megapixels. Now, unfortunately, photos only come out nice and sharp during the day. When you're using this camera at night, you immediately see a lot of noise, and particularly in the wide angle camera. The wide angle camera is virtually useless when you're taking photos in low light situations. So I'll show you a sample. This is a shot with the main camera, and look, this is a pretty nice clean shot. This is around 7 p.m. when it was getting dark already, and then now right here it's a wide angle camera, and then now you see, look how mushy this is and how lacking in detail this is. That's because this is an 8 megapixel wide angle camera. I mean, I guess this is still a passable image, but considering this phone is $650 and not $350, I find that hard to excuse. And because you're also taking selfies with the main camera setup, that means the same problem pops up too when you're taking selfies. So this is a selfie photo with the girlfriend and I in the evening. You can see there's still some lights out there, but it's starting to get a little dim. This is a decent, solid selfie. Now we go into the wide angle selfie, and this is a mess. I mean, look at the complete lack of details on my face and the lack of details on her face. I guess it's a good thing that we don't have a lot of details on my face right here, because I don't have the best skin. But even though the wide angle camera here, it's pretty bad in low light situations, I'm still glad that Samsung put one in this phone, because I still find it very useful. So particularly, I really like using the wide angle to shoot architecture. So right here, this is shot with the main camera at the Hong Kong high-speed rail station. Now you go on the wide angle lens, and you see you get so much more into the frame. This is a more interesting photo to me than this shot right here. You get to see a lot more of the architecture. Now likewise, right here, this is shot with the main camera, and then now you go to the wide angle camera. Boom, you get a lot more into the frame. And if you're shooting photos at night with the main camera, images are pretty decent. This is a decent shot, but the night mode really helps a lot. So this is night mode right here. You see this image is a little bit better lit. You lose a little bit of details. It looks a little bit more over processed, but overall this is a really nice, clean, crisp looking night shot. So this is shot in auto, this is in night mode. Now here's another one. This is shot in auto, and now you go to night mode. Look at the neon lights of Hong Kong. They look so nice, right? And this is a wide angle shot right here, and it's a completely loss of details, and it's a mess. So in terms of video, when you shoot video, I would highly recommend tapping on this. This is the super steady mode. So when you do that, it crops into the image a little bit, but that will activate EIS, and then once that's activated, then you have a really smooth video. This is 1080p resolution at 30 frames per second. I'm walking pretty fast at the airport. This is a pretty smooth video. But now if I don't tap on that super steady mode, then the video becomes a little bit jerky. Okay, 4K 30. So now you see I'm walking, and then this loses stabilization. So overall, this camera performance, I mean, I wouldn't have much to complain about if this phone cost $400 or even $450. But because this phone is $650, I find that I cannot grade it on a curve. This camera is below average at this price range. I mean, make no mistake, you can get some pretty clean, pretty nice shot like right here. But the camera far too often misses. Like right here, like what the heck is happening right here? So a few more things to note about this phone. So this phone has a 3700 mAh battery, and battery life is pretty good. I've been getting about 4.5 hours of screen on time. That's just about enough to last me all day. Now also, even though the screen is excellent for consuming media, the speaker is actually pretty weak, and it's a single bottom fine speaker. So you see, this is at 50% volume and you already can't hear much. Now we'll go to max volume. You can muffle the sound very easily.
Where did you learn the count?
But see, if you go down to even like 60% volume right now, all of a sudden you can't really hear. And also, this fingerprint scanner is not good. So this is not an ultrasonic scanner. This is an optical scanner, but it's not the same optical scanner that's been used in all these other Chinese phones. Samsung is using a vendor from Taiwan called Aegis Tech. And look at how slow it is. Now look at the fingerprint scanner on my OnePlus 7 Pro. This is from a Shenzhen company named Goodix. I made a video about this a few months back. This is the fastest fingerprint scanner in town. I mean, compared to the Galaxy A80. I'll show them side by side. I mean, it's night and day how much better the OnePlus 7 Pro's fingerprint scanner is over the A80. But you know what? I can forgive all that. I can forgive the kind of underwhelming camera, the slow fingerprint sensor, and the single bottom fine speaker grill. The one thing that really concerns me is this pop-up selfie camera just doesn't seem, you see, it's acting up again. This just doesn't seem normal. I mean, I haven't been using this phone that long. I've been using this phone for like 4 days, and the camera's already acting up every now and then. I don't know if I have a defective unit or not. I did test a Samsung Galaxy A80 a couple months back, and the camera on that popped up a little bit better. But you see this one again, it's failing to turn all the way around. This is a problem. I mean, I don't see how this mechanism will last me, say, half a year, let alone 1 or 2 years of use. Okay, so before I conclude my review, I want to take a moment to talk about Squarespace, my sponsor for this video. So Squarespace, it's an all-in-one platform to build and make and market your website. So no matter what you want to do, you want to make a website but you don't know how to code, or you already have a website, you want to transfer over to a domain that's easier to manage and with attentive service, Squarespace will take care of all of that. So squarespace.com is the site. You go on there, answer a couple of questions, you can immediately begin building your site. And if you're already a customer of another web service, you can move your service over to Squarespace pretty easily too. One of the reasons why you might want to do that, it's because Squarespace offers 24/7 live customer service, and it's very easy. You can attend live web seminar, do all of that. So it's basically creating your online brand simplified. So for my viewers, if you're interested in taking the next step to building your website or online brand, I have a 10% coupon code for you. Just go to squarespace.com/Ben's Gadget Review and use the coupon code Ben's Gadget Review. So you'll be able to get your website up and running at 10% off. So anyway, back to the phone review. So the Samsung Galaxy A80, you know, overall it's a good phone. You have a completely notchless design. The in-hand feels nice. It feels pretty hefty. The camera's actually pretty decent. But ultimately, at $650 US, the price is too damn high. Because for the same price, you can get a OnePlus 7 Pro, which has a better processor, a better screen, a better camera, and a much better fingerprint sensor too. So I see no reason why anyone would want to buy the Samsung Galaxy A80 over the OnePlus 7 Pro unless you're just a big fan of the Samsung branding. And even if you take away the OnePlus 7 Pro, if you compare the Samsung Galaxy A80 to other budget phones out there like the Realme X or the Xiaomi Mi 9T, this phone loses too, because those phones are $350 and they basically give you the same chipset, same camera performance, same all-screen design. So even though I admire what Samsung's doing here, they're trying to think outside the box, do something a little bit different. But ultimately, this phone's just too pricey. If this phone's $400, I can recommend it. But at $650, I can't. Especially not with this pop-up camera that I don't know how long it's gonna last. I mean, look at it. It's really buggy coming up and down. Like every 10 times it comes up, there'll be one time where it's like kind of stuck and leaves me a little bit worried. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.